If you're a fisherman who's itching to get out on the ice, this video is for you. This is a 2023 Lake of the Woods Ice Report. Stick around. Welcome to the Lake of the Woods Early Ice Report. Now, the first stop I made actually isn't Lake of the Woods. It's another body of water that always freezes first. It's called the Winnipeg River, and it's been frozen since about November 25th. So we're going to use this as a good baseline to see exactly what we should probably expect when we go out to Lake of the Woods. You can see here we've got a little over 10 inches, about 10.5 inches of ice. And then we head on over to Lake of the Woods. This is a Kendall Inlet on the western side of Lake of the Woods. And this is where we're going to start as we drill out to the basin of the lake to see just how far the ice has come along. So this here is the first hole that I drilled. This is right in the bay, just out from the ramp. And right there we've got about 10.25 inches, maybe 10.5. So it's the exact same thickness as the Winnipeg River one was. So the first hole that I drilled was to give me a baseline. That's right by the ramp in the back of a shallower bay. It only gets to about 30 or 40 feet in the back there, and it's usually one of the first places to freeze. So that gives me a good idea of what to expect moving forward. I picked this part of the lake because it's pretty diverse. So like I said, in the back, it's like 30, 40 feet the deepest, so it freezes pretty quick. But as I'm walking out here, the lake opens up and it gets to like the deepest part of the entire lake. In some spots gets to well over 200 feet deep, and that part of the lake is always the last to freeze. So as I make my way along, I'll drill a couple more holes as I'm getting out close to the deep part of the lake, and you can see the contrast of how things have been freezing. I'll overlay some drone footage here. You can see where the lake would have froze last. It looks super clean and it almost looks open, but it's just that freshly frozen and clear. So my hope is to get out to that far and see exactly how much ice is there, so we know the whole spectrum of what we're working with. The next hole I drilled, I came out to where the basin of the lake opens up. This is one of the later places to freeze on the lake, so I'm expecting a little bit less here. This is going to be the least amount of ice going along the route that we take to where I put the ice castles in the wintertime. So the area where we plow the road is coming along really nicely. Now this is the last couple of holes that I drilled. So if you looked at the drone footage from before, you could see where the ice was super clear and it froze last. This is where that was. So on the clear blue ice, we have 5.5 inches, and that only froze about a week ago. So in a week, it froze 5.5 inches at the least amount that we're going to see. So coming along really nicely. I expect us to be on the ice right on time. Then I walked over to a hole where on the edge of where it was frozen for a little while more. Dropped that down, and we have 6.75 inches there. So for those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Jaden. I've gotten quite a few new subscribers lately, which is awesome. I own an outfitting company here in Kenora, so I do a lot of ice fishing. I have my own personal ice castles that I rent out here on Lake of the Woods. I know some spots a little further south in Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, the ice isn't looking that good for you guys, and I know I've gotten a few calls already from some guys who had to cancel their trips and are looking for a place to go. So I've got my own shack rentals. I plow ice roads and plowed spots for guys with their own. So if you got your own fish house and you want to bring it up here, I can take care of you. Started doing that last year and it's worked out really awesome. So the big draw here is we have lake trout, which get really big. There's not a whole lot of them, but the ones you catch are going to be 10 pounds or better. The scenery up here is beautiful. And the third thing is you're going to be pretty well by yourself. So I'm the only one on this part of the lake that does this. And it's just going to be my clients that are out there. So the guys that are in my fish houses or the guys that I'm plowing spots for, you're going to be the only ones out there. And I like to spread you guys out a lot so you feel like you're alone. And I always make sure to take care of you guys. So if the fishing isn't up to standard, you know, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna move you, get you on some fish, make sure you're happy, make sure you have everything you need, and make sure you're well taken care of. So if you're itching to get on the ice and you don't know where to go or what to do, take a look in the description below. I'll have my contact info down there. I'll have my website linked, and you can reach out that way. So thanks for sticking around all the way to the end of this video. As you could see, we're well on our way. We have really good blue ice so far, and it won't be long before we're out here and we're in the shacks. So thanks again, and I'll see you next week.